AITA for refusing to share a single piece of my mom's art. My parents got married straight out of high school, had me 25 female, right away, and then split up when I was 3. But they stayed close friends till the day my mother died. My dad remarried Anna when I was 7. She had a daughter, Eve, 22 female. Then they had our brother Jake, 16 male, together. Jake was really sick when he was a toddler, so our parents spent a lot of time at the hospital with him, and I spent a lot of time at my mom's house. Eve's dad worked weird hours, so my mom was more than happy to take Eve too most of the time. She loved hanging out with kids. My mom was a talented and passionate artist, and she was determined to foster a love of art in us. And she did for both of us, but Eve is far more talented than I am. And I am, and her pain mom bonded over their shared love of painting. My mother passed away suddenly this January. I was always extremely close with her, and I was still completely devastated. I still can't accept that she's gone forever. I miss her so much. In late April, I finally got up the spirit to start organizing her things. Eve approached me after I mentioned that I was going to my mother's home to sort through some stuff, and she asked me if she could look through my mom's paintings and have a few as a keepsakes because my mother was such an inspiration for her. Eve got really upset and said she didn't care about any of the other things either, and she didn't think she was asking for that much. She said my mother was an important person in her life, and that they had a strong relationship. Eve believes that if my mother would left her something, if she had the opportunity to decide. I still said no, and Eve went to her mom to complain, and now my immediate family is torn on the issue and arguing when we see each other. My dad understands, but thinks I can give up 1 or 2. And that I might change my mind in a couple of years once the pain isn't so fresh. And I do think that could have happened before. But Eve and Anna are pushing me so hard on it and being passive-aggressive towards me. And I feel completely different about them now. We all used to be close. I understand she wasn't a stranger to my mom, but that's just not enough to me. I think my own grief is bigger, and to ask me for such a personal thing so soon after her death was insensitive. And I'm ever more upset that they don't even see the irony of Eve sending her own living mother after me for my dead mom's stuff. My boyfriend wants me to just give her one and repair my family, so I stop tormenting myself, but I think I want to stand my ground here, so AITA. I just want to say this here because I've read a lot of comments about it, but this isn't about jealousy of Eve. I can admit I was a little jealous when I was younger because I had ideas that I couldn't properly get out, and it seemed unfair that they could, but when I got to high school and discovered the medium that worked for me, film, the frustration I felt at not being able to express my creative thoughts properly melted away and the jealousy went with it. This is fully about what my mother's paintings mean to me. It's been a while, but I was thinking about my last post and thought I'd make an update. It's kind of a mess and I can't make it flow like a story, so I'm going to do bullet points. The new year marked the 1-year anniversary of my mom's death. I've been feeling more stable the last few months, but now I feel like I'm right back where I started. I started seeing a counselor this summer, but I'd give she helps that much. Anna and Eve went quiet about it, but things still felt tense. So I wasn't seeing much of my dad or brother, and I felt like I was ready to try to fix things. Evie's birthday was in September. I thought the suggestions from my first post were really good, so I went through my mother's paintings and journals and had a coffee table type book made with 20 prints I thought she'd appreciate most and their corresponding entries. And it was so fucking hard, I wasn't ready to go so in-depth, but I thought it would be worth it. Eve seemed receptive but underwhelmed. I don't know what words I want. But she said thank you and was looking through it, and then after a few minutes, said all that time for some prints. And then Eve said it's not the same. I didn't want to fight, but I didn't want to cry either, so I just left right then. I wanted to rip it out of her hands, but I didn't. My dad called me and apologized, but I told him I didn't want to go back home and see Anna or Eve for a while. The biggest thing that changed is that Anna's mom passed just after Thanksgiving. She was sick for years, so it was sad but not shocking, but I think Anna's whole perspective shifted. She sincerely apologized to me a few days after the funeral And I don't think my trust in her is restored yet, but it's a big step, and I told her that I forgave her, so things are better between us. Eve and I have barely spoken since her birthday, and she ignored me before the funeral when I told her I was sorry she lost her grandma. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't want things ruined forever, but I want an apology, and Ike if I'm ever going to get one. I don't want to put work in if she's going to ignore me. She got an apartment with friends and she's moving in soon, so I'll be able to visit without awkwardness now, but I'm not happy with how things are still. My lease ended 9/30, and I thought maybe I'd move into my mom's house, but I couldn't do it. I've been at an Airbnb and telling myself that I had to move in after the 1 year because I'm spending way too much on this place, and if I sign another lease, I'm just letting it sit there for another year. Paid through at the Airbnb another week, but then I'm going to have to leave. I talked to my best friend, and she's going to sublet her apartment and stay with me for a while, so I'm not alone. I'll feel better with her there, but I still don't feel ready. But I absolutely do not want to rent it out or sell, so it has to be now. I dumped that boyfriend really soon after I posted BC. He told me he couldn't believe I was still crying over my mom. Fuck him.